That's what they killed it. The people running, that's what they killed it, because it's older people still watching Speedway. They're not bringing young generation in. They're not trying to bring the kids in. Well, my name, I've got two names. My real name is Barney Kennett, but everybody knows as my nickname. They know me as Barney Kennett. All the years I raced, I started in 71. I was always called Barney. And when people, I tell them I'm Brian, I said, "Who's Brian? Is that your brother?" I said, "No, it's me." Everybody knows me as Barney. Or in other words, now, here, I'm known as the Selfie King. Because I take selfies everywhere I go. I take selfies. I live in a town called Alton, which is in the south of England, in Hampshire. This is the other new thing I got. I'm very honoured because I belong to the World Speedway Riders Association, and I'm president this year. I've majored and all that have been presidents over the years. Like last year, I said, "Oh, would you be president?" I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So I'm very honoured, and I'm doing quite a bit, because it's a shame, as you know, in Australia, Speedway is sort of quite dying, really, which is very sad. When I raced the 70s and 80s, we used to have 20 teams in both divisions, so that's 40 teams. Now we've only got 6 in the top division and only got 9 in the bottom division now.
Oh, wow. And when did it start to change over there that you noticed?
Roughly the last 10, 15 years it's changed. A lot of it is a development. A lot of the stadiums weren't owned. They was rented. And so a lot of them stadiums have been knocked down and houses been built on them. We're lucky because we're compact. Your country's so vast and it's so hard for riders to get from one place to another, so many miles apart. You've got quite a lot of Australian riders over here at the moment, really.
What got you into the sport as well?
What happened a long time ago, I was brought up on a farm, a pig farm. I had 3 brothers. One was David, was eldest. Gordon was the middle one, and I was the youngest. His brother, he got a bike and cut it down and made it. He raced grass track, so he started. Once he started, my middle brother and me, we all followed. Wow. So we done junior grass track when I was 13 to about 71. I didn't want to be overshadowed by my 2 brothers, so I thought I'll go. So I joined Canterbury, and I raced at Canterbury for 14 years. I went to other clubs.
The biggest difference you've noticed from that era till now?
Yeah, so much. It's when I started 70s and 80s and all that, it wasn't as professional as it is now, because now it's too professional and they've got to be fit, they've got to be light. We didn't have air fences around our tracks. You just had either steel plates or wire mesh or something. That's what it was then. The engines are too quick for the tracks. When we raced the 70s and 80s, it was all about throttle control. But now they just ride it flat out. Ride a track that's sort of a bit dodgy, a bit of dirt on it, and they let off. The bike just shoots off, it takes off like a jet. We've had a few accidents this year already. We've had a young boy called Connor Coles, coma, head damage, and we've had a boy called Tobias who raced for Plymouth. He got smashed, broke his hip and everything. Not a bit horrible. The bikes are too bad. A lot of the boys now are so small, they can't hold on to the bike. Yeah, but if you look at their styles now, where we used to sit on, put our feet down, our right leg on the footrest, and our control with our left foot with our steel shoe on, now, you watch most Speedway now, they're hanging off the bike. Their legs are up in the air, everything. Their legs are all over the place.
What do you think about the future as well, like for Speedway as a opinion, how to make things better for, juniors to go through and grow?
Going back to the old engines, because they're developing the engine so much now. It's just like they're riding the jet. The expense of it is unbelievable. They pay so much. The youngsters, they've got 3 or 4 bikes. But you can't ride 3 or 4 bikes in one go. The money, how much they charge for bikes and engines, that was ridiculous.
How much would it cost back then till now, for example, if you wanted to start?
You laugh. 1972, to pick a brand new 2-valve driver was £350.
Wow.
Now, the bike now costs anything from 10,000 up.
10,000. And what about like all the accessories and stuff like that? Total, how much would it cost?
Thousands.
Thousands.
That's a lot of the riders now ride who don't make it. They're in debt all the time because they're buying so much money to have a go.
Yeah.
And you don't get the crowds. The crowds are not good like they was. I mean, we had an average when I was racing Canada. We had an average anything from 2,000 to 4,000 every week. But now, some of the tracks you go to, you'll be lucky if you get under 1,000. And it's a shame because when you look at Polish Speedway, what we was like 40 years ago, You go there, they have an average from anything from 6,000 to 15,000 watching. They control Speedway. They don't ride here, they've got to ride in Poland.
Here in Australia, I am trying to, your thoughts of all your knowledge that you've known in the sport and how critical it is for Speedway. I wanted to know through your experience what it really brings to the communities, the towns, but also identity, like the culture it brings for people. Because in my generation now, because I live in Brisbane City, they've actually demolished a community centre in Newstead, and that community centre was there for such a long time. And I had an elderly lady come up to me. She was about almost 90 years old, and she said, yeah, a lot of people in, say, my generation are very lonely because we can't go out and talk and communicate. There's nothing really happening. Well, I saw that Speedway was sort of like a social hub for people to go and talk and families to go to. Your sort of perspective on that as well.
Well, the only problem is that we got exactly the same problem as you. It's the way society is, the way life is, because everything's changing. See, over here, our generation over here, he's used to support me when I raced 70s and 80s. And that's what they killed. The people running, that's what they killed it, because it's older people still watching Speedway. They're not bringing young generation in. They're not trying to bring the kids in. We've got a lot of youth happening here. But all I worry about is, it's all right having all this show, where they're going to ride in 5-10 years' time. There's going to be nowhere to race. And so in Poland, they got what we had 40 years ago. When you watch their meetings, they got kids running about, young people, teenagers watching Speedway. We don't have that in England. I don't know what called it, but I don't know if social life is what they got with computers and phones, everything. I don't know, internet and everything that, but they just don't make the effort to come to Speedway, which is such a shame. A lot of the people I see are people who remember me when I raced. So it's very hard, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what it is, because the biggest thing in Speedway is, when I raced, you had showmen, you had celebrities in Speedway. They don't allow that now. As soon as you not be able to swear or anything, you're in trouble. You get remanded, you get fined. And people said you not be able to use that punch ups and all that. That's what Speedway was about then. Yeah. They're not allowed to do none of that now. If they have a punch up, they're fined £1,000, £2,000. This is how silly it is. Health and safety really killed it, because for 70s, 80s, used to take children around our bikes, around the track, or sit on the bike. They loved it, children loved it. Can't do nothing like that now. And that's what's killed it, because they don't put any. The Speedway goes on, and the trouble with Speedway now as well, it drags on too long. They have after every 4 races, they grade the track for 10-15 minutes. So people waiting about. When we raced, we used to have 15 heats, then we had a second half and a final. And if you had delays, it just drags on. You've got to get it organised a bit quicker. Same as when you watch the Grand Prix, the big Grand Prix, they do the same. And same as Polish, they had 4 races and they grade the track for 10-15 minutes. Yeah,
so everything's definitely changed. I know a lot of the history just because of my dad's scrapbook. So I've actually read a lot of the history, and I've noticed, like you said, the strategy of the show.
Oh, God.
Yes, it stopped pretty much in the 80s when all those other promoters passed, and there was actually rules. Promoters had rules. I know that Frank Arthur was strict on having promoters had to wear a suit, they had to wear a gold watch, even a cigar. It was in the rules. So the promoters had to walk around with a cigar. Yeah, it was a show, and like you said, there'd be like sort of like a fight or some sort of rivalry to keep the crowd going. Yeah, they had all divisions in one night. Started off with like the solos, sidecars, and then it went to the midgets, so the bigger cars. Divisions wanted to go in different tracks. I do believe the sport can be saved. It just needs to be a little bit more structured.
It wants to make more of a show of it. That's the problem. They've got to make more of a show of it.
On my platform, it's actually got a lot of younger people, so people under 35. Yeah, when people say, oh, you're not going to get it up again, I was like, yeah, but what I'm seeing on this page, there's a lot of people that are interacting, and like you said, it's a social thing. I have seen what the Polish do. They, keep up with the trends. They keep up with mine. I do cinematic storytelling. Yeah, pretty much what rugby, footy, tie in legacy and storytelling. And that's why I go back to history, is because the promoters used to do that. Yeah.
Full time.
Really have the crowd feel it. And it wasn't just about who won the fastest, it was a story.
Another thing as well is such a lovely history, because the man who left Australia in 1920 something, was it 20 or 30? He was only starting Speedway in Australia, and he started in England. Johnny Hoskins. Now, would you believe it? He was my governor. I raced for Johnny Hoskins for 14 years. He signed me when I was 16 years old. And it was amazing. He was such a lovely man. We used to get up to mischief. Anyway, it was like the 70s and 80s.
What happened back then that you wish would happen now?
Used to ride donkeys around the track.
Oh, really?
Riders with their levers riding on the back of a donkey. They always put something on.
I knew that.
They have fireworks, health and safety, that's all stopped.
Is another thing I saw, especially here in Australia, I feel, when younger generations do want to get in and try to do something different. A big thing here was the tall poppy syndrome. What's your thoughts on that too, when someone does try to make the sport better as well?
Oh, it's brilliant if you can, but the trouble is there's not enough of us about to do it. And riders now, as soon as the meeting finishes, they just go straight home. They don't socialise at all. All you got to do is put your hand up and wave to the crowds, because crowds love it. They're paying your money, sure you can just wave to the crowd.
In footy or league here in Australia, some of the footy players go up to the crowd and, try to sign as much as they can,
that's it.
Throw a ball up into the crowd and
that's it.
It's
just
insurance
or something like that.
Yeah. So there's little things like riders could even throw their goggles into the crowd or just have that window where it's safe and secure. We're humans, so humans need to sort of interact.
And most of the riders now, they got such good sponsors. Not the gear they got, they're sponsored for it anyway, especially in Poland. And it shocked me they don't do it. Lovely sport to get into, but the only problem is that it's a lovely sport to do. It's a social side as well, he and me, because I say everywhere I go, there's nothing better than the Speedway family. It's unbelievable. Because I come to Australia, as for as promised, I'm booked for 6 weeks. I paid for a hotel for one night. That was 6 weeks. People said, "Oh, come and stay with me." I even Phil Hearn, who lived in Albany, I was in Bathurst. He came and picked me up 6 hours and took me back to his place.
Wow!
Come pick me up. Well, that's how nice Speedway fan is. So that's the nice side of it. But it scares me when I watch all these kids. Love watching them, and there's going to be nowhere to race.
And you got to keep trying, because as soon as you stop trying, that's it. Doing these little steps at a time, I think there will be a big change in it soon. Well, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for sharing your story.
Very well. Hope everything goes well for you.
Thank you.